So, what happened on May 19th, which coincidentally, the 99th birthday of Omawale Malcolm X, Morehouse College last September, as we previously discussed, invited new Jim Crow Joe, genociding Biden, to be their commencement speaker. Once they announced it that they invited him in September, but they didn't announce it till sometime in April. And of course, that was 7 months into the latest eruption of the long war that's been taking place, in Palestine. Really, if you want to be completely honest with you, started with the Balfour Declaration in 1917, and there was a lot of protests by students and faculty who were, quite frankly, outraged that this man had been invited to be their commencement speaker. Usually when we think of commencement speakers, we think of, this is one of the greatest days in the lives of most of us, who've been to college, and, for people who've graduated from college. A tremendous day. You look forward to, an inspiring commencement speaker, and then here they have this guy coming. And so we did a program on this. So I tuned in to there were several live feeds covering the commencement. When I tuned in, Biden was maybe, 10 minutes or so into his pandering, hypocritical, and very dry speech, which inspired nobody. And I noticed that there was a flag of the Democratic Republic of the Congo behind Biden, and all of the protests leading up to this commencement speech revolved around the genocidal war that the Zionist state has been carrying out, in Gaza. And so I said, wow, what is this? I mean, what is this? I started trying to search to find out why this was taking place, but it was actually only the next day when I found out that it was Dr. Samuel Livingston, who teaches in the African American Studies Department, and Dr. Cynthia Hewitt, who I think is a professor of sociology at Morehouse. They were holding up the flag of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Dr. Livingston was on Democracy Now! the next day, and he explained exactly what they were doing. He said, we held up the flag because the people of the Congo do not get enough media attention in terms of the active genocide that the United States is supporting through its support of Rwanda. Congo deserves justice, reparations from the United States for the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, conspiring in that assassination, and the people today deserve a country that is built on peace and justice. So I wanted to start our conversation about what's currently taking place in the Congo by simply highlighting this protest, calling attention to what we think is the most critical issue facing the entire African world. We know that there's a humanitarian crisis, for example, in Sudan, and that our people, particularly in the Darfur region, there is the possibility of genocide that's being committed by these, I guess you could call them Arab-centric Africans who think they are Arabs for some reason. In the civil war that started last year, in Sudan, we know that that's taking place, and we know that there's a conflict going on in Somalia, there's a conflict going on in Ethiopia, and across the Sahel region of Africa, there's jihadist terrorism, and there's a turmoil in both northeastern and northwestern Nigeria, just to name a few. And of course, Haiti is an African country, and we know what's taking place there. But the Congo, the situation in the Congo really, the whole history of the Congo, going back to the Berlin Conference and Leopold II, but particularly beginning with the election of Patrice Lumumba, right, to be the prime minister of the Congo. His overthrow by engineered by the United States government, CIA, with the complicity of some African traitors like Joseph Mobutu and others. Uh, the Congo has been a place of turmoil largely because of its mineral riches. Currently, and this is largely as a result of now these countries scrambling for the technology, the minerals that are needed to run electric vehicles, the whole EV revolution. In addition to that, of course, before that, we had the computer explosion, starting, personal computers, and then all of the other electronic devices, laptops, cell phones, all of these devices, electronic devices use minerals that are found in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the mineral riches in the Congo are considered to be worth an estimated $24 trillion, which should make the Congo one of the richest countries on the planet. But instead, it's one of the poorest, and it's been bogged down in a series of wars and conflicts since the ethnocide in Rwanda in 1994 spilled over into the eastern provinces of the Congo in 1995. And then we've had a series of wars since then. By some estimates, 5 to 6 million Africans have been killed, and the slaughter continues. And so, this protest by Dr. Livingston and Dr. Hewitt, highlighting that in the face of, where a lot of the world's attention is right now, I thought was critically important. And I just wanted to just call out and just recognize, this brother and this sister for doing this protest. The whole commencement took place in what you could call a police state type of atmosphere. Professor Dr. Tara Taylor, who did a silent protest, she held up a fist and turned her back to Biden while he was speaking. She's a professor of sociology at Morehouse. She said you couldn't help but notice the fact that there were Secret Service agents there with snipers. So the families of the 414 graduates of Morehouse on May 19th, the graduates, the faculty, and the families were the president there, Dr. David Thomas, a graduate of Yale, subjected the students, the graduates, the faculty, the parents, the families to a police state atmosphere to bring in this guy to give a campaign speech. And that's just, I felt sorry for the graduates and their families. They have to be subjected to that. And I think there should be, he should be ashamed of himself. And I don't know why, there wouldn't be some discussion at the highest levels of Morehouse about that situation. But anyway, I just wanted to highlight that before we move into the other issues. So you have any comments on that, Brother Amos?
Well, it's good to see African people put in Africa first. And, instead of them trying to hold up a Palestinian flag or hold up, not saying that we support what's happening to the Palestinians, but we cannot forget about what's happening and what's been happening on the African continent. The massive amount of people who have been displaced from their homes in the Congo even far amasses the amount of Palestinians who have been displaced from their homes in Gaza. So I think that this was a brilliant move by this brother and this sister, because it puts it right in the face of mainstream media coverage. knowing that they were going to be showing this because Biden wants to use this as a way to bring in the black vote for this upcoming election. So there's no way that CNN was not going to be showing him standing there in front of this flag, and it starts a conversation. A lot of black people may not have even been familiar with whose flag that was.
Right.
They may have been wondering why this flag was behind Joe Biden. But you know, we have to be tied to what's happening on the African continent. You see Europeans all of the time holding up Ukraine flags or putting those flags in their yard. They're connected to what's happening geopolitically around the world. And we have to have a strong connection with our news and information and brothers and sisters on the African continent.